Hey everyone, it's David Fine from the Figure Guys podcast, folks. We are back. We are live. We are not playing reruns like last week, but we thank you for all your feedback on last week's kind of the best of Customania. It was an amazing show. Of course, Customania 2 is coming back in 2022, but more information on that coming up soon. Just want to also say thank you, Todd from Retro Wrestling Revolution, for sending me this Haiti Kid. It's not painted. I'm going to paint it. And so I'm going to be revealing that in the next couple of weeks. Not an artiste by trade or by fun, but that should be a fun time. But like I said, we have the great Nick Johnson coming up, of course, on the program. Brother Brutus Valentine, the Fixtorian himself, and of course, talking Tyler Peters. We are all back on a live edition of the Figure Guys podcast.
David Fine Media, taking the spoken word to the next level.
It's the show made by custom fans for custom fans. Every week, the guys get together to talk customs, wrestling, memories, and more. Join David Fine and friends now for the Figure Guys podcast. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Pod Daddy himself, Mr. David So Fine.
That always gets me. The dancing babies, which that's new to the open, thanks to Smash Ventura and Smash Ventura Productions. He'll actually be coming back on, I think, the season finale of the program in December. But that picture of myself, of my head and the body, that's actually what I look like with my shirt off. I don't know why he put that up there, but it looks like kind of like a Scott Steiner. Big Daddy Pump. I mean, I'm just saying, but guys, we were off last week, but we did have a best of with the Customania. Customania 2 is coming next year, of course, sometime in 2022. But the Fixtorian, Brutus Valentine, of course, talking Tyler Peters. We have an amazing guest this week. I mean, Nick Johnson. I mean, he does some amazing work. He sent over some pictures that I put on a video that we're going to be playing while he kind of describes each and everything that he's done to these figures. But I mean, his work is amazing. Maybe he could do something to this Haiti Kid that Retro Wrestling Revolution sent me. Todd Tomeo sent me. He sent it to me, and I said, I guess I'm going to have to either I need to paint it or my son Deacon needs to paint it. He would probably do a better job than me because I'm not very good with painting. So what do you? You have a figure in front of yourself, Brutus.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Oh no, it's just I've developed this growth coming out, and it's getting quite nasty. And there's nothing nastier than an LJN Terry Funk. So I mean, how some of those people have a lump, and I was watching the Pimple Popper. I mean, we've been in lockdown for a long time. Dr. Pimple Popper, and some people have teeth and bones in some of these things. So
okay. So,
oh gosh, what kind of show? Yeah.
So on a different tangent, Brutus. I mean, I am not a fan of you now because my wife loves that show, and she watches on TV. She watches it on Instagram, on Facebook. I turn her. She's on the computer, on the phone, and I'm like, looking just to see what she's doing because she's not paying attention to me when I'm saying, hey, I got to ask you a question. I mean, we've been married 22 years. She still doesn't listen to me.
Yeah.
Maybe another 22 years. And she's watching Dr. Pimple Popper or one of those pimple popping. I'm like, oh my God. But I just wanted to say, I know Tyler's favorite person in the entire world, Michael Weems, who is probably as fast asleep because, I think he's
Probably.
he's a young whippersnapper. I just want to say I have two wrestling figures. I have a Haiti Kid, which no one else has except for everyone who was on the program last week, and a Macho Man Randy Savage. So you know what, Michael Weems, thank you for being a friend and a watcher and a listener to the podcast. But you know what? I now have two wrestling figures, and just wanted to bring on our amazing guests tonight. And, in the pregame show, I said we weren't going to beat around the bush and, tomfoolery and shenanigans, but bringing into the program the great Nick Johnson. Nick, I mean, it's funny.
Hey, how you going?
I'm doing great. It's funny in the pre-show. Y'all kind of live somewhat close in Australia. It was kind of like Australia talk. It was a new podcast, and Tyler and I, we just felt out of the loop. But welcome into the program, and I'm glad we could bring you on. Kind of get you out of the doldrums of a lockdown, which is what going on. Bruce, you said 240 days.
It's in the 240s now. Look, we may be located very close within the same metropolitan city, but it's easier for you guys to meet each other than it is for us to meet each other at the moment. Although I think are we up to a 10-kilometer radius now, not a 5-kilometer? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought it was going to 15 shortly, so we could get close.
15 tomorrow night. Oh no, tonight it's Tuesday, isn't it? I don't know. One day rolls into the next here in lockdown land, but that's how life is. So,
but that's the one thing that I think in this whole pandemic that we can come together and talk about is wrestling figures. I mean, Nick, your work is amazing. Like I said before,
Thank you.
But growing up, I mean, I don't know your age. I know you're in school for the kind of getting to the toy business. Kind of talk about that, and also how you got it. You, I guess, fell in love with the design and the collecting of figures.
Sure. Okay. So I'm 24 currently. So I'm now studying at university industrial design. In America, I know they have you can actually do a toy design course, but as far as I could tell, there isn't many around here that I could find. So industrial design was probably the closest I could go for, and that's just you're basically learning the same skills and again the same design traits. So yeah, I'm getting through that with the ambition to get into the toy design. So yeah, toy design. I think there's only one real big toy manufacturer in Australia, which is Moose Toys.
Yeah, Moose Toys.
Kind of eyeing off. Yeah, I'm working toward. I took this semester off to because online university is crap. Trying to learn via online is not fun. So yeah, I took this semester off, and I'm trying to just build up work to make a folio that I can submit to them, and hopefully get an internship or something over the summer or next year.
Yeah,
and Nick, so you're 24. So what are you doing? Hang around with old people like us, especially me. So yeah. No, right. That's so industrial design you're doing, and industrial design is a technical course, it's an artistic course, it's a creative course, and an applied course, and it's about developing those skills, high level skills, and then taking them to the type of industry or that you want to do. So we've got the real deal on here, guys. Now, some people may have seen Nick's work before, and David's going to be able to show us a great show reel down the track, but we are talking some decent quality work. Let's just understate it at the moment. Yeah.
I mean, hey, Brutus, we're going to get it right into it. I mean, we have the CM Punk. Yeah. We have, what part of this, just kind of tell everyone at home, kind of go through which part of this you did and what you did.
Sure. So I started with the base metal body, which included just the main frame of the pants, the arms, and so I basically sculpted over the legs a bit to make him more like his ROH attire. I added the belly fat to him to make it a bit more CM Punkish, because he's at least back then he always had a bit of a muffin top style to it. I then sculpted the knee pads and the wrist tape, and then primed the whole thing grey and painted it all from scratch. All hand painted. I'm not very good at using decals, so I've just sucked it up and learned how to paint them as much as I can. So yeah, all the tattoos and designs are all hand painted.
Yeah, that Pepsi logo. The logo that he had on his trunks. That looks amazing.
Promotional consideration there, yes.
No, it does. Yeah. Hey, you could have fooled me with the decals.
What is it about? What is it? is it only wrestlers? I mean, I'll go back to the beginning. Is it something that you were interested in when you were a youngster? Like, because you're so old now, but because
Yeah, so-
wrestling,
Oh, it's dropped out.
Oh, well, that can't be good.
Yeah. what
Well,
happened to
anyway,
Brutus?
I think I may have accidentally kicked Brutus out of the conversation. But hey, Brutus, if you're watching, I apologize. Hey, look,
He's coming back. You didn't get the job done. We got to have it. We got to have Brutus. Yeah.
I think Brutus, I apologize. I think I may have accidentally kicked you out of the conversation. So.
I think it was us. We've got two people from Melbourne needing to get all the way across to the States. So,
It's our
Could
great
be.
internet.
the hamster's getting tired running that wheel.
But back, I mean, this right here is, I mean, amazing. Kind of what went into the design of this? I mean,
Well, it was for a secret Santa over on Instagram that they tend to do every year. So everyone signs up, and then one of the people that run it assign everyone. You give them a list of who you want. I think it's 5 people. And then I saw CM Punk. I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome to do. So I made a cast of one of the ringside exclusive heads. And then I just assembled all the parts together. And then I guess, you first you get all the right parts, make sure the scale's correct, and then you Dremel down, sand the joints, and then start the sculpting stage. Then you prime it, and then paint it. And I like making CM Punks, but painting those tattoos aren't the most fun experience.
yeah. I mean, and some of these, I mean, some of the
hang on.
tattoos that are on here, I mean, are just,
Hang on.
I mean,
Internet's doing crappy. Give me a sec.
Yeah,
See,
hey,
I was right. We're using up all the bandwidth and the copper cable. What's interesting is you look at, so I'm looking at the small iPad, and I thought when I made it bigger, I thought I'm looking at a photo. That's what I thought at first of his face.
Yeah.
no,
Can you hear me now?
incredible.
Sorry, my internet's crapping out a sec.
Oh no, you're fine. I'll tell you what I appreciate
Yeah?
from
Okay.
this panel, Nick, is the Ring of Honor. How it's not going to be WWE. You go back to their early career. I think that's a nice touch with the CM Punk custom.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think CM Punk has a lot of cool looks, and I would like to do one of each of his looks. It's just a matter
Oh,
of
for
getting to
sure.
those tattoos, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've heard of this
Particularly
guy.
the Straight Edge Society mark,
Yeah.
Chris Jericho. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
So you
tell
go.
us about what went into this. How did you come up with this design? I mean, definitely got the tattoos as well. But also, what I noticed, you've got another character. Of course, we'll probably see that later on of Jericho. But I love how the poses. I mean, how important to you is like having the poses, the action poses, like they're actually getting ready to do a move or something. You're recreating that scene. I think that's awesome. Talk about attention to detail.
Yeah, like posability is a big deal for Mattel figures, and it's kind of scary as well when you're painting skin tones as well, because you have to worry about joint rub and errors. I still haven't completely been able to perfect that yet, but it's just a matter of sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding, and then making sure you have the right clear coats to make sure there's no rub when you use the movement. And most of the people
Well,
these days go to.
I'm standing by
most-
that, Nick. I don't think you should be talking to us if you haven't perfected it yet. I think your work is shoddy, and you should come back again in 10 years' time. No, look, it's interesting. I noticed there's quite a bit as an old style figure collector. I don't like the new figures because of that stomach panel. I understand it for playability, but if you ever made a figure of me, you're not going to have enough material to put my belly fat in there. That's for sure. Yeah.
I
I'm trying to
have the
make an
same
Andre the
problem.
Giant as well. Yeah, I'm making Andre the Giant at the moment and trying to sculpt all the massive him on an LJM is fucking. Sorry for the language, but this is kind of
I mean,
the mass I'm trying to add to that. If you can see.
boy,
Oh,
that is rather.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love this Kenny Omega right here. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, the detail. I mean, it's.
It's
I mean,
on, right?
it. I mean, it takes a lot of work to make. I mean, there are a lot of customizers, but this detail is just amazing.
Oh,
It is, yeah.
thank you.
Was this him back in New Japan? Didn't he do this
Yeah.
gimmick in New Japan? From what I can remember,
Yeah, I think it's from Wrestle Kingdom 11.
okay. See,
maybe?
I'm having
Yeah.
I'm having to learn all this because I really didn't follow him in New Japan. I know that's amazing to hear, but I'm being honest, I didn't watch a lot of New Japan at the time. I was more into WWE, and that's not a knock. But this is a cool look. It's got like a Two-Face kind of character, like what you'd see in Batman.
Yeah, it's Terminator inspired, I believe.
Oh yeah, Terminator, right?
Yeah, I personally haven't watched any New Japan either. I tried to watch some of it last year, but yeah, I'm not sure if I've been able to get into wrestling lately, just for whatever reason. But I just like the imagery of the people, and they have really cool attires and the colors and pop. It's like you kind of lean towards the design aspect more so than the content, if that makes sense.
Yeah, very creative. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, before we get in, the rest of this amazing photos, I mean, folks, he sent me probably like 80 photos, maybe. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, it all of his amazing work. But before we get into the rest of the pictures, have you, in the past, kind of tried to customize other lines? I mean, I know this is Mattel, and it's not LJN, but I mean, have you tried to do it like an LJN style of customizing, or is this, or do you find that not harder, but just not as, I guess the LJNs are not, playable, they're not posable, which can turn people off.
So I've made the Hulk Hogan and the LJN that was in one of the contests. That was probably the first time I've done something that's
which folks, it'll be coming up soon. It's amazing. So stay tuned and watch that.
It broke.
Yeah, so that was the first time I've done something
into-
other than Mattel.
Yeah, people are still talking about that Hulk Hogan Nick made.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've been working on that.
But this is the Kenny Omega is a
Yeah,
good
I think
full
Zach has
director
that
when
in his hand now.
when he was about that big. So there's photos of him with LJNs when he was a little kid. So it's a nice way of turning from the origin to where we are now, and that's why younger guys like Nick are really able to channel that history through what they.
No, I agree with Brutus on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I mean, I know that LJNs. There's one new LJN, I guess, AEW Cody Rhodes, and Brutus, you said you've seen that.
I've only seen photos. It'd be interesting to see what Nick thinks of it, because he's the man with the talent, and that's a contemporary rendering of a historical style. What do you think, Nick, about the how Cody looks?
I've just heard from other people's experiences. It's smaller than the scale, and I feel like if you're going to put all that effort into making the Cody, why not make it to the right scale as the other LJNs? I mean, the design looks right, but I just think, if you're going to go to that, or go all that effort into it, why not make the scale correct as well?
I've got a technical question just before we move on. Nick, is it possible that they don't know about they should know about the process when you're molding it? When you go from some of your prototypes into it, you get a shrinkage down in size. Do you think that's possible, that they didn't take that into account at some stage in the process?
Possibly, but the guy running it also did the Jax line. I'm not sure what the Jax scale was when they did the LJNs, but
all the same size. And Jimmy Hart was buff and everything like that.
Yeah.
I've got to see that one. I've not seen Jimmy Hart with the muscles.
Because I know through the Classic Superstars, they had... through the Classic Superstars, they had some LJNs in there as well. And that was all done by the same
I've got all of them. They're about an inch smaller as well. And lacking less depth as well. And a bit like the Francisco ones. They're well out on scale. They look like Andre the Giant fighting someone like Gary Starr or something like that. They're lacking that size.
Yeah, I mean
maybe they've just continued with that same work method for their Cody.
I mean, because a lot of people, then they put decals on there. They get them, from companies. But I mean, and all this is hand painted on, correct?
Oh, sorry, my internet's been dog.
Oh no,
Yeah, I
hey,
think-
you know,
Right.
I mean that long telephone line, you know, from here to Australia. I mean,
I was
we're
going-
just taking
I
up all the
think we're
bandwidth.
I think, yeah, well, the width especially. Yeah, I think we're both got delay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
So I
but
think I'm hearing I'm about to respond, and then there's a whole new topic afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of funny. I mean, I'm sure that I mean, I've done this, had this happen in the past with everyone on the lockdown. You know, back when we had a lockdown, I mean, people were just using up internet bandwidth. So it's like,
yeah.
I can understand why, you have delays and glitches because, I mean, heck, you can't really go anywhere. And I'm sure people working at home and doing school from home. So it's understandable. But yeah, I mean, what I was saying
Yeah.
before is that everything that you do is painted on. So, I mean, how much more time does that take to paint that on with a detail than, does it take the longest part of the process?
Yeah. Like painting skin tones and stuff I can do within a day, but I'm not sure if it's just mentally draining. But yeah, it requires a lot of trial and error, like going back and forth over it. Like, oh, I've gone a bit too white on that. Have to bring in some black, and then trying to go white over black. You have to do like many layers to try and hide any gaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is quite tedious. And I've had a CM Punk here that I've been painting for a while, and I've got the chest tattoo done. But like, I just can't be bothered doing the arm tattoos at the moment. So it's just been sitting here for like 6 months.
it's amazingly time consuming. I look at some of the newer figures that I don't watch wrestling, and the tattoos, and I think, gee, in the old days, it was pretty plain and simple. But the tattoo work is quite amazing now. And for you to hand paint that, could be that might end up being a little side career for an artist.
Oh God. I don't know if you don't have that trial and error on tattoos, though, so it'd be a bit risky.
I know. What if you make a mistake, you sneeze and you slip or something? It's like when some big bikey guy, with no teeth looks at you from you're mine, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just paint some black over it. It'll be all right. Don't worry.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
Somebody from Tyler's neck of the woods. You said no teeth, so I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Well, I've got teeth, by the way, or I wouldn't be able to.
Tyler has a magnificent set of choppers. Unbelievable, but
Well, I hope I do. Now, hey, listen, there may be some people I don't want to know if I go too far back in the hills or somewhere out in the country, and I'm like, no, so.
Yeah.
Hey, if you've ever gone to Copper Hill, Tennessee, Tyler, stay away from that. Did a wrestling show back there in the 90s. There's people who had more fingers than they had teeth. So I'm just saying. But
it's always handy to have two rows of teeth. So when you have the Mountain Dew and they fall out, and another row just pops straight back out like a shark.
Well, now you're talking about a grandfather, but we'll stay on track. I know Tennessee gets a bad rap. I know.
Well, it is the home of Jerry the King Lawler, but anyway, moving on to something even more amazing than Jerry the King Lawler. These two Razor Ramones. The details. The hair, the chains, the different color boots. Talk about this one, Nick.
Yeah, sure. So this is more of a comparison between Mattel and mine. So the purple one's Mattel's stock figure, and the green one's the one that I did. It was basically all the same parts, except I resculpted the hair and added the kick pads, not the kick pads, the knee pads and the arm pads, and then obviously full prime and then paint on top of that. I guess that's become my style, which is like I don't really like using the stock skin tones and stuff like that, so have to completely redo it. I'm not sure if you can see in like the closer up pictures, but like I try to do like some speckling and stuff like that to give it some more different colors and shades here and there. But yeah.
Yeah, Nick, I was going to ask you this. Do you prefer the Razor Ramon character or when he was just Scott Hall? Which one do you kind of like? That just made me think about it, seeing the Razor character.
Well, I never really got into wrestling before when he was kind of up and about. So this is all based on my like secondhand experience through one of my friends that's in the States who's commissioned this.
I got you.
Yeah, so like I quite like the colors. So like I said before, like the colors pop to me. I kind of draw to those. So like Razor had some pretty cool attires.
He did it,
Yeah.
and that Tony Montana accent was awesome. If you ever get a chance to watch the vignettes, they're classic. Love Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon. I mean, and the curl, in his front of his face. I mean, and that's all you. I mean, how do you? How long does it take to like resculpt that? I mean, to make it, because I would assume that's not how it came with. You had to redo it. I mean, how long does that take?
Hair's not really that difficult. The thing you have to worry about more so is because it's all the neck joints and stuff like that. You have to worry about the hair breaking and snapping when you're moving it around. So it's taken a while to get the hang of that, but I've just found different materials to use that kind of. There's a product called green stuff, and that's a bit more flexible when it dries hard. So that can withstand the movement of the neck and the durability. I struggle to get the same detail as I would because I'm mainly working Abe's epoxy sculpt, which I think Zash does as well. Whereas here in Mortis, that's real hair that I applied instead, just trying something different. Was it Tibetan lamb fur? It's the stuff you use. Yeah.
No, interesting. It makes it more realistic for sure. The hair.
Yeah, and that comes back to, I guess, because I go back to, I think Bruce was asking earlier, how I got into wrestling. Like I was collecting in grade 2, all the weapons like year 7. I think it was about 13. Then I kind of grew out of it through that period. Got back into it around 2018, back when like NXT was really popping. And that's when I started collecting again. So I think it's like a Mattel Shane McMahon that came up. I'm like, I'll get that. And then that just started all over again. But in between that gap, I was collecting Hot Toys, which is like the 1/6 scale, and they're like super realistic.
Okay.
So that's inspired a lot of my painting and stuff like that. I want to make them as realistic looking as possible. And the real hair kind of lends to that.
Is there a Mortis figure? I don't know. Or have you created this?
No, that's one I created from scratch, basically. It was a Seth Rollins.
Nikki J original.
Yeah, that was for another custom competition. But yeah, I think it was mainly all Seth Rollins parts and then Edge legs. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean,
that's
I love how a lot of the customizers we have on here that, they make the normal figures, the LJNs, but they come up with ones that are wrestlers who don't have figures, which I don't, like you said, I don't ever remember seeing a Mortis. I don't know why you would, but it was amazing that you created this, using other body parts from other wrestlers, which you can't really do. I would assume it's a lot easier probably to use parts on them, like on these figures, than it would to cut off an arm and a leg on an LJN.
Yeah, so like this is like an Ultimate Warrior I'm working on, and I think it was made from a Warlord parts, but I've had to cut away the knees, the arms, and like basically reshape the whole figure. So that's a lot more time consuming to Mattel, where you can just like go through a bin, like, so I needed to be this height, so I'll get these legs, these quads, thighs, and then you can like get it all in the right scale, and then you add to that on top of that. Whereas I found for the LJNs, it's a bit more tedious because they're in that kind of basically statue pose.
Yeah. I mean, in this one, this is creepy but amazing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's very appropriate with Halloween coming up. I mean, this fits. This is good.
So that was for a custom competition. I think the theme was that it had to be a wrestler inspired by a video game character. So I thought, I was a big fan of Batman and like the Arkham games of Grouse. So I thought, Scarecrow as Mankind would be pretty cool to do.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I was about to say I could see the Mankind, but now that you said Scarecrow, I was wondering what the other, because I could kind of see Freddy too with the hand.
Gloves,
the glove too. Yeah.
It's definitely an annual competition, because I might enter that last year because I've got an idea. Pong. It can be, and it's just a thing. And when you hit him, he bounces off the ropes and comes back again and comes back again and comes back. Nah, not a good idea.
No, I like it. Hey, no.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, if you did not know this, I'm sure you probably do that. Brutus is really good at creating figures. I mean, he's a good digital LJN creator. I mean, he's created a couple of different, I guess, girlfriends, dates for Tyler. He's really good. He should have entered Customania, but he didn't.
I know. I don't know why, because that's what I want to know.
Well, maybe he can enter next year, but I don't know. He's counting, so we wouldn't want them to introduce the counting because Gerard wouldn't have won. This next one, I mean, I know Tyler. This guy's a current wrestler. I mean, it's. This is an amazing likeness.
It is. This would be one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. What's his name now? It keeps changing, but I always say Pentagon because that's the one I know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's El Miedo Penta.
That's it. That was closer than what. Yeah, that was.
I mean, I don't know. Justin Roberts seems to. I don't know. Every week he's introducing him as something different. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so confused. But yeah, I mean, this is an amazing figure.
And the thing is, that's not actually him. It's Chris Jericho disguised as him from All In.
Oh, okay.
All Out.
Yeah.
So that was for there's a guy on Instagram that I'm friends with called Toys of Jericho, and he's a big Chris Jericho fan. So last year he reached out to like 5 or 6 of us customizers that he thinks are the better ones, and he put up a prize of $1,000 US, and the winner. So only the winner would get that. But yeah, so everyone, I think the 5 of us had to make a Chris Jericho figure from any look that you wanted to go with. So I went with this. Yeah.
No, I think it's cool. Yeah.
How did you go? Did you go well in the?
Yeah, I won. So I was pretty stoked with that. Can't go
You
wrong
won?
with it. 1,000. Yeah,
And
yeah.
$1,000 goes a long way down in Australia too.
Yeah. How it wasn't complaining at all.
What does $1,000 convert to in Australia? About the same.
I think it's about
4 oil
1,400,
wells
1,500.
and a double barrel shotgun.
Hey, you're rich. That's exactly right.
A double barrel shotgun kind of sounds like the Clampets, but
Well, hey. The Clampets were rich. They struck gold. I mean, oil. It might as well be gold.
I mean, Texas tea. But
Texas tea.
Exactly.
Oh God. I mean, that's a whole different podcast talking about.
Well, I know, but
No. Talking about like old shows from from the 70s and 80s, like the Gilligan's Island. They could never get off the island, but everyone else could. Just saying. The Harlem Globetrotters came and visited the Gilligan's Island. They got off, but that's
Yes.
yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm sorry. We're talking about old TV because I mean, to Nick's only 24, so he probably would be like, "What's Gilligan's Island?" But
I don't know what Gilligan's Island was. I had Foxtel back in the day. It was at TV1 or something like that. They had all the old shows on it.
okay, talk to us about this. These severed parts.
Yeah.
Kind of talk to us about that.
Same thing. I don't like having to paint the tattoos more than once. It's very draining. So I thought, I want to have an interchangeable torso, but I want to have to do interchangeable arms. So instead, I thought I'd use magnets. It's kind of something I've always really liked the look of. So I wanted different because when Chris Jericho appears at All Out, or after he attacks Kenny Omega, he takes off his mask and then he rips off the Pentagon kind of shirt, and underneath he's got his Judas shirt, and he's got his hair up in a bun with a face paint on, and then the hair gets taken out. So I wanted to be able to kind of recreate all those different looks and give the guy getting it. I basically tried to like put as much effort as I could to win the $1,000, and it worked out in the end. But yeah, so I used magnets in the waist joint and the shoulder joints, so they should be able to pop off and then interchange with each other to the guys.
I mean that's
Do you use
amazing.
those magnets, the little disc ones, or?
Yeah, the little rare earth magnets. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of just in long strands, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got amazing hold on them. For people who aren't familiar, you can buy rare earth magnets. They're fantastic. Not only that, you can walk along and your figure will probably attract about 10 other figures as well. So it's an easy way to pick someone's pocket.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thanks for the. I like the pickpocketing. You only get that here on the Figure Guys podcast. I mean, you get a gamut of a lot of great things, great journalism, integrity from Tyler. But the question I have is there a customizer that you have followed or followed their work, over the years that you've been doing this that kind of influenced you? I mean, the 1/6 scale that you were talking, I think 1/6 or 1/16, the ones that look just like, I mean, like a Harrison Ford or,
Yeah.
I mean, is there anybody in that realm or on the LJN or the Mattel that you kind of follow that you said, hey, I want to kind of go in that direction and sculpt and do stuff like them?
Absolutely. So yeah, someone that has like completely basically copied their style, I think, is they were back in the old, like maybe like when I was 13, so 10, 12 years ago. I don't know if you guys were on Wrestling Figs forums, but they had the customs thread. Yeah, they had the customs thread there, and there was a guy called Famous J, and I adored his work. I spent like all of my preteen years just saving every photo, stalking his photo bucket, and I've got like folders upon folders of his work, and that's basically what I've just replicated his style from.
That's a good one to definitely replicate for sure. I'll tell you what, this Jericho, the face, is what amazes me, how much it looks like him. I mean, you could really picture this being Jericho. I think that's what's amazing about all you customizers that I admire. I'm jealous. I'm not that creative. I can't even get a stick figure to look like a stick. That's how bad.
But could you get a precious moments to be precious moments? Just saying.
No, that's what's sad too. I couldn't even get the sheep to turn out right. I don't know why am I on here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Tyler. I didn't mean to talk.
No,
I think when customer meet, when you can hear them, I think that just is really showing that we've got guys at the top of their craft. Because even though wrestling's it's got so much physicality, it's in these days it's the top guys. It's what you hear, and so you seem to hear these people talking. I'll shut up because we're moving on to the next one.
Oh no! I mean, and this Hulk Hogan. I mean, it's not even the Hulk Hogan that we were talking about that was in the competition. I mean, this is, amazing. I mean, what perfection! I mean, it's like, it's just like you would close your eyes and be like, oh, "Yep, that's Hulk Hogan." You open your eyes, it's like looking at a picture.
Yeah, this one was actually quite tricky because it was before Mattel regained his rights, or like they started using Hulk Hogan again after his not so graceful period. Yeah, so I had to use an EC3 head sculpt, and I basically just like hacked away in it. I think all I kept really was the eyes, and then so I had to resculpt the nose, the mouth, and the rest of it. So it wasn't the best likeness just yet. I think Mattel have put out some better ones since, but yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I ended up having to resculpt the eyes as well because Hulk Hogan had some quite droopy ones from this era as well. So basically, it's a whole sculpted face. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the Hollywood, like Tyler had, I think, mentioned before. I mean, the Hollywood, the belt, which I think was NWO, but I mean, I like it kind of incorporated into this and into this figure. I mean, it's amazing.
Did you make that belt yourself?
No, I wish I could. Yeah, fabric stuff is something I'm still learning, but that was by someone on Instagram called X6 Figure Clothing. She does some really cool stuff. Yeah.
I love how, go ahead, Bruce. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump over Brutus. I was just going to say, I love how you captured Hulk Hogan's intensity with his facial expressions as well. That was very nice.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
And before we take this off real quick and we'll go back. We actually have a question from the audience from Shad. He's of course, he's an amazing person who tunes in each and every week. He said, curious if Nick has one particular painting tip he could share or one trick that works best for him.
Yeah. Watering down the paint is a big deal, honestly. you have to have it really, really thin. But I'd also recommend, like you were asking, like who has inspired me from the 1/6 kind of thing. There's a guy on there called Darren Carnell. He has his own Patreon where he has painting tutorials, and he does some fantastic like 1/6 painting. And that's where I kind of learned to do the realistic skin tones and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend checking that. I think it's like $3 to $5 a month, and you can go through his whole catalog of tutorials. There's even I think there's a whole I think they're 1 hour tutorials, and each one 1/6 scale head sculpt has 17 videos. So it's pretty detailed work that he goes through. It's quite slow, but very detailed. So if you want to start painting, go through those. I'd definitely recommend.
Yeah, I mean, and this Drew McIntyre with his championship. I mean, I know you did the belt. Where did you do the belt, or is that something that you had gotten from another amazing customizer?
No, that's just Mattel stock belt, believe it or not. I think it's from the Ultimate Edition though, so they're slightly better done. But the Drew was kind of a redo of an older one that I did. I just basically got the Mattel head sculpt and redid the hair and painted it. But yeah, I was quite happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, this likeness, Tyler. I mean, like we said before, it's like looking at a picture. I mean,
it is. I mean, that's Drew McIntyre. Even the definition of the hair on the chest, it's amazing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's the minute details that really jump out to you when you're looking at these.
Thank you.
And this next figure, I mean, he was one of your favorite wrestlers, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, hey, RVD, Rob Van Dam. I mean, how could you not appreciate him? I mean, he was doing innovative stuff a lot of times before really influencing what we're seeing now. I don't know if you guys would agree, but RVD was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and this painting, I mean, the painting on his trunks, I mean, that's what. Hey, look, Brutus, you're coming up twice. I will. We're in some kind. I think we're in. Let me remove that. Bring Brutus back on. Okay. Hey, we have 2 Brutuses. It's amazing. This show is so amazing that we've gotten 2 Brutus Valentines. It is amazing.
It's actually you're correct, David. My wife has got a meeting. Which has just happened downstairs, and it's knocking me off all the time. So there's not enough internet to go around.
Does your wife not understand that the most important podcast in the history of podcasts is going on right now, all across America and into at least Tennessee? I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, my wife's not even watching it. She's like, "Oh, you're going to do your podcast, huh?"
She's still employed, so that's a big thing for down there.
Yeah. I mean, that is a big thing. But going back to the Rob Van Dam, I mean, the painting of this dragon on his tights. I mean, how detailed and how long did that take to do that, or is that something that was on there already?
No, so that was a commission repaint somebody asked me to do. They didn't want the skin tones, which I was a bit disappointed about because that's usually my thing. So they just wanted the face be repainted and the kind of attire. And I think I sat on that for a while as well. Like I said, whenever I get to those detailed bits, I just sit on them for ages. That probably took over 9 months, just bits and pieces doing. I'm definitely not fast when it comes to painting. I think of 3 or 4 here just sitting here that I've had for the last year that I need to finish. But yeah.
And speaking of, I mean, and I know, Tyler, I'm not going to say this is your favorite wrestler. I'm not a big fan of Goldberg, but I mean, this, still incredible though. I mean, I was a fan of him in WCW growing up, but you get a different perspective when you get older that he needed to have shorter matches for a reason. But yeah, regardless, man, Goldberg, that's still a big deal, man. I mean, he's still relevant because he just had a run in WWE. He's probably not done. And I like this with the mouth. I mean, talking about the poses and just still in incredible shape. I mean, even the thickness of the legs and just his abs. I mean, the definition. I'm envious, man. I'm lucky. I don't have that. So I'm like, I can dream, and that's probably other people's nightmares. But there you go. I don't know.
Yeah, that was probably one of the faster customs I made, thankfully, because he just hasn't got any kind of details when he's WCW. The only detailed bit was that shoulder tattoo. So that was a nice kind of turnaround just to kind of refresh myself, really. And that was just a comparison next to the Mattel figure. So, yeah.
Right.
I mean, did you use any of the parts from Triple H for the Goldberg, or is that just?
I think it was the same arms really, and then the thighs, same arm and thighs, and then the torso I completely resculpted from. I'm not sure which one I used. It was one of the lighter weight kind of torsos.
And of course, we have John Cena here with his really long pants. I don't remember seeing him in these, but thank God. Talk about your the creation of this John Cena.
Sure. This was another Secret Santa present for last year for another guy. This was from a house show in Japan, I think, maybe. The Zuba pants. I think the wrestlers tend to go, or maybe. There's this, yeah.
I think they wear these kind of pants, and they also have fanny packs, but that's neither here nor there. So.
Yeah, so I think it was at a house show where he and CM Punk were both wearing the Zubas. Yeah, because I think it's Sacramento is a logo on the thighs, but oh no, San Francisco. San Francisco is the football logo. So, but
yeah, I guess now I can see it. Yeah,
yeah.
I think. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to really interrupt you, Tyler.
No. I was just going to add with those Zumba pants, they need to make a comeback now. Now that we've seen it on the figure, Cena is going to come out next with the Zumba pants. Come on.
God, I'm surprised WWE hasn't come up with that. But we were talking in the pre-show, which folks, I mean, that needs to be a show within itself because I mean, a lot of fun stuff happens before we go live. But we have a UFC fighter here. I mean, I know we were talking about wrestlers. I mean, it's the figure guys. So I mean, we mainly talk about wrestling figures, but UFC is very popular. I mean, I'm not sure. Is it popular also in Australia, back pre-pandemic, or is it something that you just had to watch on TV?
No, it's quite popular here. I think Volkanovski, he's Australian. He just won on the weekend. Australia has quite a few good fighters, including Robert Whittaker. Especially, I think Melbourne changed laws like 5 years ago, just so they could have it at the Etihad Stadium. Or Marvel Stadium now. And that's where Ronda Rousey lost to Holly Holm. I was actually at that because I was quite fond of Ronda. I was quite sad to see her lose.
Hey, you're talking about the good old days when you could go somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, maybe one day you can go. You can leave your house.
Hopefully before Christmas. That'd be
ideal. I mean, we really are hoping and praying you guys can, because that is a shame. I mean, that you can't.
But tell us about this USC figure.
Sure. It's Khabib. I can't remember his first name, but that was a commission piece for through Instagram. I think since I've started in 2018, there's quite a big community there, and I've been able to make some good friends. And so this was a commission for a friend that I did. He is a big fan of the UFC over there. And this is his favorite, Khabib. So yeah, I've probably been sitting on that for a year and a half, maybe. I still need to post it to him because I'm making an alternate head. But yeah, he has his big afro thing. I think what do they call it, a pompadour or something? I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'd have to look that one up, to be honest.
But I mean, this Taz. I mean, he has this is an old school Taz figure. I mean, back in his old ECW days.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely Taz going against Sabu and all those guys. Speaking of RVD, this is ECW to the core. This even WWE when he debuted against Angle. I mean, he was resembling a little bit remnants of this. But I love the expressions again. Had me and just the way he's flexing there. I mean, he means business. Somebody's going to get suplexed is what's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the figure, of course, that we've been talking about all night. I mean, this Hulk Hogan. I mean, is absolutely amazing. I mean, kind of tell everybody, watching and listening what went into making this. I mean, you couldn't just throw this together. I mean, this took some preparation and some work to put this together.
Absolutely. So I think the start of the year, maybe I had Zash reach out to me, asking me that have I shown any interest in doing LJN, and we kind of created a relationship or friendship through that. And it got to a point where he's like, hey, you should come and join Customania. like, oh, that'd be cool. And he was nice enough to send me all these castings and parts to play around with. Knowing me and how being so slow that I am, I wasn't able to make Customania, so I wanted to make Backlash, and Hulk Hogan was definitely the one I wanted to make for that. So, like I showed you with the Ultimate Warrior, I can't remember which. Very good. Dino Bravo figures, or a cast of Zash's Dino Bravo, and I just basically tore that apart, ripped off the arm, or sawed off the arms. I think I lengthened the legs a bit. Just checking you can still hear me. My internet.
Oh no, yeah,
weird.
you hear definitely. I mean, yeah. But I mean,
Yeah,
this.
you
I
guys hear me?
mean, Tyler. I mean, this. When I saw this Hulk Hogan and Backlash, I mean, I was like, this is amazing.
It is amazing, and I love once again how you're reenacting the classic ripping the shirt. I mean, that just adds to it that much more. So I'm with you guys. I love this Hulk Hogan. I'm just in awe, man. I'm not worthy to be here, but thank you guys for putting up with a guy who doesn't, thinks oil's money. I mean, I don't know.
That ripping off the shirt of Hulk Hogan is kind of like I think Brutus on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
Hey,
I do this, but Michael Weens would be disappointed because he thinks I've only got one shirt. But I've got to be honest, I haven't been changing my clothes much during the lockdown. There's no need.
I mean, you don't have to impress anybody or go out. So I mean, hey, why not? I mean, just wear the same thing. Hey, trust me, I did that many a time during lockdown.
Underwear,
so
I changed my underwear, at least rotate it,
well, that's good to know.
I mean,
turn it inside out.
yeah, I mean,
a little bit.
I mean, it's kind of like, oh, good Lord. Moving on to the next one was it is a figure of a man, of course, who, as they say, passed too soon. Owen Hart. I mean, this is another amazing. Kind of tell the details going into this one.
Yeah, of course. So this is a commission piece where the person that wanted it done wanted it in NWO inspired attire. I in hindsight, I probably wouldn't take it again because I don't really like fantasy attires. I think that kind of took it away, but like especially being my first Owen Hart custom, I wasn't too fond of that. But yeah, it didn't require too much effort apart from the head sculpt. That I had to basically resculpt the whole face because Owen Hart hadn't previously had any figures. So yeah, I made it from a Dean Ambrose head, I believe. So it basically took all that was left was the eyes, basically, and I just resculpted the nose and mouth.
Yeah, I mean, and we've kind of gone back to the body parts of the figures. Kind of explain about this one.
So this is a 1/6 scale figure. The body is just like a display just to take the photos with. But I bought the head sculpt yonks back because I've always wanted some wrestling 1/6 scale figures. So I bought the head sculpt, the digital file, and only recently I, found the means to print it. So this is just me trying to test my painting abilities and try to get that realistic expression.
It's the 1/6 scale ones that I've seen, the guys that I follow on Instagram and on Facebook. I mean, they're amazing. It's just like, they're just amazing.
Yeah, plain and simple. They're nuts.
Then we have, of course, Harrison Ford, which is, with his hat. Folks, if you haven't seen the 1/6 scale, just, go on Instagram or Facebook and, or, Google and just type in 1/6. It's just like, they're even more lifelike than some of the stuff that we've seen tonight. It's just,
for sure.
it's just like they took.
Like the main company that makes them is Hot Toys. So if you want to find some really cool licensed stuff, check out some Hot Toys figures. Yeah.
Talk to us about this one.
So this is Finn Balor. This is my first kind of venture into digitally sculpting in ZBrush and trying to make a real expression. Oh, hang on. This is kind of, can you see that? That's kind of a sample of it on ZBrush. I've got this Wacom tablet that I've been practicing over the last 2 weeks, just trying to learn.
Yep.
I think we'll see more photos of it later, but yeah, I've been wanting to learn ZBrush for a long time, and that's kind of what I wanted to go to uni for, was hopefully learn ZBrush. And unfortunately, that was never the case. So that's this sculpt here.
And he has a great face. He's a face that that an artist would really like to capture in so many different ways, because just the
For sure,
nature
he's
of
very expressive.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been having a ball sculpting him. Ideally, I'd like to make some AFL figures, which is AFL's Melbourne's sport.
Yeah.
Well, Melbourne's footy.
That's,
So yeah, I think there's a big gap in the market as well for those. I would think there should be some hanging around.
I think our LJN ones would work for a start. But anyway,
just any type of toys would be cool. Yeah.
So for you guys, that's the Australian rules football we're talking about here. So,
So that's what you mean by real football compared to what we're used to. Yeah.
Well, not rugby. Rugby.
Okay.
League in New South Wales and Brisbane mainly, and rugby union is a similar type of thing. That's more a Kiwi, the All Blacks you would have seen, but Australian rules football is the local one.
Gotcha. I need to research that and actually watch it so I can, understand that better, because I've always been fascinated by the different sports, how they're presented. So
yeah, and as you can see in this video, he's changing out body parts, which is
that's an example of all the magnets and how they work. You might be able to see the strength of them just snapping in.
Yeah,
as well.
you see it go, and then bang, they're in there.
Yeah.
That's just
the heads weren't made
unbelievable.
Yeah, no. Thank you.
Tonight has just been awesome. The work that Nick that you do is just amazing, and the people watching, listening, they're of course watching live right now on YouTube and Twitter, and eventually this is going to be on Instagram in the next 20 minutes, or on all the social media platforms. If someone wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, I would like a Nick Johnson original, how would they do that?
Preferably message me by Instagram. I probably check that more than anything. The handle is just like here, Nick's Custom Toys with the underscores in between. I've been slowly putting together a Facebook page for my work. That's just under Nick Johnson. But yeah, they're the main two places you can reach me. My commissions are pretty much closed for this year. I'm hopefully having some free space in the next
They take a while.
Yeah, and I'm just really slow and drag my feet.
Yeah. That's right, and sometimes it's getting a bit lost within the broader community, not the community that knows each other. These what a lot of the customizers do, and the people in the master level, they're not whipping these up in a factory, producing things. These take time and a lot of effort, and they don't let their work go out if they're not happy with them, and often they'll redo them and redo them and redo them until they think, this is good enough to give to someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know your commissions are closed, but is there anything you're working on that people should be on the lookout for, on your Instagram page, which is amazing, in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so there's a few on my desk here. It's like one that's probably most recently is a Tetsuya Nato from
Oh yeah, definitely heard of it.
Yeah, so I got him. He's probably close, but I've just been putting it off because there's some little bits and pieces that are off. I got a Sable from WrestleMania 15, kind of just that's all in bits and pieces, doing green stuff and clay. And then
I can see the resemblance there around the
the chest. Yeah. And then I'm doing a Crush from WrestleMania 10. Oops, you're kind of missing his arms. But that's my first venture into Ultimate Edition kind of style, which is different kind of articulation and stuff like that. So I've just been playing around with that.
Hopefully, Brutus, Nick's Sable is. I'm sure it's gonna be as lifelike as Zash's Miss Elizabeth. Which I even blushed. I was like, okay, that's lifelike. But yeah, thank you. But that's amazing. And Brutus, do you have anything that you're working on? I know you have a lot of non-wrestling things you're working on. Have you even started working on book 2? Is that the Bible?
Book 2, I haven't worked on for a few months, but all the match stats are done, the layout's done, and so that's all ready to go. But I have to do the research, and I can't do the research for that until I finish the books I've got to write, because they require research. So one feeds into the other. But I'm ahead. I don't like saying this because sometimes things can bite you. But I'm about a month ahead on my own writing, because things have been so quiet here. So that's a good thing. So hopefully around about December, when I'm just hopefully sending out books, I'll be able to start working on book 2, and a lot of the customs have been done by guys now, and more are popping up as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. Tyler, what are you working on? Anything? Are you appearing any place for Coastal Championship Wrestling in Nashville? Or are they coming? Or are you just kind of laying low?
Well, I'm kind of laying low a little bit. I'm doing a little bit of articles independently, one every now and then, not really overly extending myself, but just, still writing, trying to improve a little bit on that end. And who knows, I may appear in Nashville more. They do have an event, speaking of Coastal Championship Wrestling, coming up on October the 16th, which I believe that's going to be a Saturday, because that's normally what day. So there's more information on their Facebook page and social media. I should have really done more of the homework so I could give people more of the details. But hey, I'm just being real. Just look them up on social media. So
I mean that's amazing. But it's been another great show, Nick. Thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely bring you back on. Hopefully in the very near future.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Oh, I'm sorry. You were gonna.
Next time we're speaking to Nick, he might be actually an employee of some big toy company. So,
I mean that would be amazing. I mean, by that time, you've graduated and and got a job with a toy making company. I really like that. And he could maybe help you with book number 3, Brutus. But we'll talk about that down in the very near future. But for the great Nick Johnson and the Fixtorian Brutus Valentine and Talking Tyler Peters, as always, as Smash Ventura nicely named me, I am the Pod Daddy, David Fine. We'll see you back here, not next week. We are off next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time right here on the Figure Guys podcast.